Welcome or welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people, where we speak about critical issues in the blindness community and all other issues from across the universe, galaxy, and today, let's go over to India. And certainly, we want to welcome Rishabh Jain to Aaron's Opinion. Rishabh, as I read in your description, you studied at the Indian Institute of Technology. You're a data scientist. You've done a lot of tremendously fascinating stuff. So basically, I just want to pick your brain today and learn about your fascinating life and really give you the chance to share what you want to share with the world. So as I like to say, tell us everything you want me to know and don't tell me anything you don't want me to repeat. So who is Rishabh? And you can go through your whole life journey. So go for it. Welcome.
Hey, thanks very much, Aaron, for first inviting me here and wishing everyone happy Halloween. I'm not sure what's the I think it's already morning of the 1st November, but I still wishes everyone happy Halloween. So I will quickly jump to who I am. So I born in 1996, so that is the end of what we call millennium people. And Gen Z is just about to rise. And I born up in the capital city of India, like the Delhi. And I born up with this retina pigmentosa. Like that's come with my birth. But I still have good usable vision, I will say. So it was progressive vision loss, as most of people will able to relate. So I grew up in that area that we usually speak our mother tongue, like Hindi, at our home, but our school uses like the English. So my parents put me in normal school, not for the school for the blind people. There I spend like my good amount of time till senior secondary. Then I there is a examination that's run for Indian Institute of Technology for engineering. So I was I able to get some college out of it. Like there are several Indian Institute of Technology in India, but in my first attempt, I able to get it to few of them. But then I was not satisfied, or I want something more. Like I want to pursue mathematics, but at that time, I'm not getting mathematics or computing. So I took one more year, prepare again, and then I get into Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee specifically, and there I pursue like bachelor's and master's in mathematics. There, while studying mathematics, I got interested in data science in my sophomore year. Then I did a few college projects along with my professor, and then like after my junior year, I got this thing internship with Microsoft. Then I do a couple of summer intern with Microsoft. Then they asked me to join as a full-time employee. So from past 5 years, I am working with Microsoft in their different teams. And when I'm not working, I am writing sometimes stand-up comedy. I'm writing some jokes. I'm reading audiobooks. I am fond of traveling, especially beaches. I will try to make it to the places which are close to nature. Love walking around the sand. So that's a brief thing that is coming to my mind. Yeah, I will take a pause and yeah. Now, Aaron,
Excellent.
yeah.
Absolutely. Fabulous. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think this is really wonderful. I think that in the United States, I should tell you that. So I'll tell you a little bit more about me. As I said, my name is Aaron, as you already know. I was born in 1991, just a few years before you. I do have glaucoma, not RP, but I'm very familiar with RP, right? And I also have a congenital heart defect. So my whole life has been spent, going to doctors and overcoming my situation and overcoming my disability, of course. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's really really fascinating, Rishabh, that you developed such an aptitude for mathematics initially. I think in the States, this is something that blind people, many blind people are very intimidated by, and in America, many blind people, do not pursue mathematics. So, I really want to pick your brain and learn with you. So, can you really tell me, what is mathematics for one? For another, what is data? What's science? What's data science? And then can you put it all together and understand, your learning journey and how you really transitioned your learning to work? Because I think this is critically important. So really break down the blocks of your knowledge, really, if you can.
Yeah. So I will try to summarize it because mathematics, as we know, is a very vast field, and I have been like pursuing, I kind of learning it from last, I will say 25 years, like until till my senior secondary, and then 5 years in the college, and still after learning a lot of those, I feel I know very less. But still, I will try to break it down, like all of your questions. Like first, what is mathematics? So I will start with from where it originates. So as you all mentioned in earlier time, we don't have any numbers. We don't know how we do things, how we communicate or how we do businesses. Suppose in very earlier days, you are just a hunter or a gatherer. You hunt something. You hunt something, you got an animal killed or you find some fruits, you pick them up. But today you feel like, hey, I don't want to eat this. I liking the fruits uh, in hand of my friend, but how will that exchange happen? So from those principles, the counting has started, like how we can count. So people have started counting. Hey, we can count. They are calling it different ways, like it's their map. Like they are not calling like one, two, three. They might having some different. They draw some pictures. Like if they want to say there is one apple, they will draw something. If they want to say there is two apple, they will draw something. And in earlier days, it there is no concept of 10, 11. There is no concept of unit places. So at that time, people just try to draw and draw. If they want to draw 59, they draw some images. So they keep on drawing. They keep on drawing. You will find this thing in different sculpture, different scripts. So from that point, from business point of view, or for counting or managing things, the maths have come. Then people try to. Then what's happened? Like when people, then more world started, more things become available. Then people finding it hard. Like they have to. Suppose now you have to sum two things. So summing to, suppose there is an image for 59, you assign some symbol or some image to 59, and you assign some symbol to 112. There is no way you can sum two numbers because there is no unit places, or there is no way you can sum. So slowly people started coming up with, hey, we can arrange these things like in decimal. We can come up to 0 to 9, then we can put 0, and we can make it a system. So that will help us to sum better, to do subtraction. Then these concepts will come once we able to arrange this number into 0 to 9, into 1, then 11, 12, like unit places. Like at ones place this will come, 100 place this will come. All these things become make sense. Then multiplication have come, division have come. Business started booming. People able to copy the records at various places. They are keeping scripts, and calculation become easy, trade become easy. And then while we are recording, like from the past few years, we are recording this data. Hey, I have sent $2,000 to Aaron for this thing. Earlier it was all cash transaction, but now like we are using credit cards, there are online payments, everything we buy online. So the whole transaction are coming, whole data is flowing. Now we know what Aaron is buying at 8 a.m., what product he used to buy at different time. Now we have all this data. After now, what data science sit top of it, how we can leverage this data to assist Aaron itself. Like if he buying a pack of shampoo from past 12 months every month, Why he have to go search again and do the same thing again? Why can't we just use this data and suggest him and make the process easy for him? That's our friendship. That's our human too. Like when we meet someone, we try to understand them, and after a few time, we become comfortable with them. Hey, we know they're in and out. Similarly, the data scientists try to do the same thing. It's try to sit on businesses data. It's try to sit on your data, try to read your and help you, like, and it's all happen in privacy. Like it's always ask for your permission if the business is like if someone is not stealing or doing wrong thing, but at most of the thing it's asking your permission. Hey, this data I'm wanting to help you in this way. So people run algorithms to get to filter this data, to sort the data, and then recommend you. Now we are building chatbots. You type in something, the AI will process this thing, and even in the future, I will see when everything got integrated, you will able to easily book the tickets, find some restaurant, book a table, very accessible way just by voice prompts and all. So that is my take on like mathematics to data science, what I can think of in a sum.
Your answer is perfect. I love the way you broke that down into relatable terms for me, because I think you're very right. I think that as someone who, and I'm not a math person at all, but I totally understood you. Math is basically a way that we can put value in science behind the trades and transactions that we make in society. And you're very right that data science seems to be being able to help businesses understand behavior, right? So I think that's all very interesting. I have a creative question, right? What would happen, Rishabh? What would happen if we said, we're not going to have data science at all? Like, what would happen if we, as a society, you in India, me in America, what would happen if we said, we're not going to use data science. We're just going to let people use technology and buy things online. What would the consequence be if we eliminated data science? Not that we would want to, but what would happen to the economy if we did that?
Ah, So first of all, the very simplest thing which come to my mind, if we block data science, I think if the data science have been blocked, me and Aaron not able to connect because it's again the data science only. The Facebook algorithm reads Aaron interest. It's no Aaron somehow connected to me. Even we are sitting far apart. So if we blocked everything, you can imagine like we have not been sitting here. We will be doing our own things, and even for economy to grow, we need people to connect, to come, to transact. That's how economy world over work overall. Like until there is no transaction, nothing will grow. Even like say, it's a very simple thing. Recently Halloween is coming, then the Thanksgiving will come. Similarly, we have these kind of festivals, like not the same but kind of same festivals. So those, if we also say like people not able to connect, um, they are not able to buy. Now you can now a person buy more, do more transaction, and contribute back to the economy. If we block everything silently, you will not see immediate effect, but silently, the things will shut down. It will automatically shut down because trade will not happen. You can't sell a thing to a local community multiple times. Like it will be, the business will be stagnant. Everything will go stop. So it's very hard to imagine like to living without data science or like to process the world now because now we are dependent.
Understood. Yeah. Because when I was a little boy, data science was not really important in the United States. We weren't concerned. It's nothing personal, but in the 1990s, American children weren't really concerned with what people were doing in India or England or Canada. We just kind of went about our business in America. So that's one huge thing. The answer, how I got in touch with you, you're very right. We would never have been in contact. It was actually, I believe, now that I'm thinking back to it, I believe it was our mutual friend from Romania, Mariana Barbu, I think originally connected me to you months ago. Yeah, I'm purely curious. How did you come to meet Mariana Barbu, or did Mariana Barbu reach out to you?
Yeah, I think I sometimes post about different things, or I have my like profile up. People like I have put on my profile, like I have read mathematics or I do this data science job. So I usually get like pings from people. Like my inbox is usually filled. I I will I try to answer most of them. If I feel the request is genuine or people is someone is really wants to learn. So it's come up the same thing. Like I think I'm not remember exactly, but like she was also we connected. I'm not able to remember, but yeah, like exactly. But like she also, I think at that point of time was preparing for some job, and and also like she wants some screen reader, to learn more advanced screen reader techniques. So that's how like we connected, and I share my learning with her also, like what I know. So that's how we connected, and then she might have been reach out to you to connect to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, so Mariana was on Aaron's Opinion months ago. So I know, so she's in our groups, and you'll certainly speak to her later today if you like. But you're very right. I absolutely, I want to learn from you, man, because we need your knowledge around the world. You'd be surprised to know that most people do not have the level of knowledge that you do. And this is, no matter what country you're from, America or India, to find somebody who has a master's degree in mathematics and is knowledgeable about data science, this is your knowledge is very valuable. Your knowledge is very powerful, man. So I definitely want to learn with you. Let's go back and talk about something that I've always wanted to learn more from and learn more about. So, growing up in India in a mainstream school in Delhi, talk about it. What was it like? I don't really know much. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about India. I mean, American people learn a little bit in schooling about the culture and the history a little bit, but I know virtually very little about India. So talk about, experiences going through the school system, teachers. What is it really like to grow up in India and go to school there?
Yeah, so I will try to break it down like on a very high over level. So schools in India, we have some setup for like the people with disability, like for the blind, we have special school. But why my parents have not put it me there, because they are afraid, like because how they train people there, it might have to change over the years. But at the time, it might be also wrong. But their thinking was that if they put in that special things, we will choose a particular path which they only told us, or where they are great at, or where they think the blind people should go. So that's why like they put me in normal school. So in Indian school, there is no special arrangement. Like you are at your own. Like my parents used to drop me, and as I mentioned, like it was a progressive vision loss, so I need to arrange a lot of things. Like I have to ask for special permission. Like, hey, I need to sit every day at the front of I need the front seat. In our school, there was a policy like you need to rotate the seats based on your admission number. Like if so, like first day you will sit in first row, and then you sit in second row, and keep on rotating, and then after a week, or like say 7 8 days, you will come back to the first row. So the very first accommodation is like we have to request, like because I will not see the board from the very far end, so I need to sit on the first row. And then similarly, like when the exams are come, I need papers in large print, because a large print, or if that is not accommodable, I need someone to read out the exam for me. So so those arrangements we need to keep on making. And my parents used at that time, we are also not aware about screen reader, and I think it was not, the computer was not at everyone home. It's like uh, very few people have the computer in 90s or even in early 2000. So even I got my first computer in 2008. So till that time, they used to read everything, and read the questions. I try with the large writing and all. I tried to do a lot of things, and then when I got the computer, the reading still goes on, and I like able to manage. along with the studies, like, but our school never like discriminate in terms of like, say, if I want to participate at some, uh, like they will not try to do the accommodation, but they will also not discriminate. If something I can able to do and I am good at it, they definitely promote me. Even I represented my school at various places, like say in a chess game, or and even like I used to write at the time for my school magazines. So they never discriminate, but like also like even they are not very aware about what accommodation, or even we are not aware what to ask at that time. But yeah, that's how like I able to manage the school. And yeah, and people are like in earlier, like in when we are child, and like in our early years, people used to make fun, because even like every child is not aware, even like the society, they also don't know, like they don't need to uh act like that. So once also they grow up with me, they also become sensitized, and they also used to come like for help in studies and all. So I never like got discriminated or left alone, either due to like because sometimes they need to take help in studies, or I'm not sure, but I never feel that much isolated or something in school. Yeah.
Yeah, really good, really good.
Mm.
It sounds like you're someone that just really applied themselves and just really did the best you could is the answer. You just did your best and you were ready to learn and ready to participate. So that's really,
Yeah.
really wonderful, man. Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember any particular teachers in your schooling that were like really nice or really silly or really funny? I mean, sometimes teachers say the funniest things. What were some maybe humorous or silly or funny memories from your schooling where something weird or silly happened when you were growing up? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So it's not like no teacher have done something weird, or like I don't remember, but some like once a teacher was very new, so she was not aware about my condition. So so she doesn't know, like because I was not writing, because because we are not sitting in our usual classroom, and we used to go to some other lab or something, what I remember. So there I not able to get to the first seat because we have moved, and she was new. So I was not able to write anything from the blackboard. So she came and like she slapped me kind of thing. But as soon as I told her like my condition, she immediately becomes sorry. But apart from that, like I think because I was in the same school from the very starting, so every time like a new session has started, I already like my parents ask me to very first they go to the teacher, explain my condition and ask for the help, because if I their saying was that if you're going to do this after 2 months, you are going to lose study, or like it's your loss only like for 2 months, because they are not aware, it's not their fault, like they should be aware about your condition. And if you don't get good feedback from them, like if you don't got some support, then we will take some action. So for 90% of the time, I think I got like whatever I like, because even we are not asking a lot of things. So teachers able to accommodate. Some are there like there as human behavior. Some have their own like kind of things. So some not support, but still like because there are a lot of things to do in school. And once you perform them, it's some teachers like it takes time. Like once you perform them, you speak in their class, you do their homework well, they also become like they also support you. So that's kind of thing happen. I usually used to go first day only, like whenever new teacher come to tell them about my condition, and how their teaching style or what I need. So yeah, it's never happened like that. Yeah, that was only the incident which I remember.
That's really good. So you learned
Yeah,
about self-advocacy is the answer. You learned to advocate for
yeah,
yourself. That's
yeah,
really encouraging. And this is even in the United States, this is a huge problem for many people with disabilities, appropriately advocating for themselves. So I just hope that people are listening to what you said about how you just have to explain. You have to explain your condition and then show them that you're willing to do the work and prove yourself, improve it. And that's a lot. You know, I recall when I was a little boy, even in America, wherever I was growing up, the schools even then in America did not want to have someone with a disability in their schools. Even in America, this is a problem. And but I remember the headmaster or the principal of that school when I was growing up as a little boy. I remember this. He called my mother, and he said, your boy Aaron, he's a very, very good student. So the funny thing is that even though when children are going through school, even though they might not realize it, when you do good work for adults, when you show your teachers that you know the information, you prove it to them, they notice that very, very quickly. So that's a huge thing to be able to show that you can do it. Yeah, that's wonderful. Really good. So, I mean, as far as school subjects go in India, what subjects did you take? And how many, like in India, did you have to do like an English class or foreign languages? How did they approach? Because my interest in life is languages and linguistics and language acquisition. So in the Indian schools, how do they approach language learning for children? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so till primary, like English and Hindi will be, it's always you have to take, because English is a working language. Like, although like people speak in Hindi, but English is the language where we read our all other subjects, like whether like, so Hindi we just read as a subject, but you can also choose to read other subjects in Hindi, but that is also not available in every school. So English is as a linguistic subject we also study, but we also study all other our subjects, like whether it's social science, moral science, sciences. All these are happen in English only. So our medium of instruction is English in most of the Indian schools. Till primary we have basic subjects, like we have English literature, then a Hindi literature, then you have social sciences, then you have sciences, you have moral science, like where they talk about culture and all, and then you have general knowledge, or like it's more of like current affairs and all. Then you have like your some subjects from arts, like if someone is craft, drawing. So those are like, and apart from that, there are several fillers, like there is 2 to 3 sport periods, and then there are few library periods, there are few music periods. Those are not your proper subjects, but those are like filler, like once or twice a week you go there and try to learn. And so these are your core till primary. So once you come in middle school, like from standard 6 to standard 10th, your these subjects also more become vast, like, and also you get a opportunity to learn one more subject. You can also choose Sanskrit, you can choose German, you can choose French, like one more language you can pick. And also your sciences again break. Now in science you have like physics, chemistry, biology, and even in social science you will have geography, you will have history, you will have political science. So all of these you have to learn. There is no option till our high school. Like till high school, everyone studies the same thing. After high school, we have to take a decision whether you want to go to sciences, you want to go to medical sciences, you need business studies, you need humanitarian studies. So these are like there are three main fields, like the sciences, medical sciences, they club into one, first the sciences, and then you have business studies, where accountant, business, or economics, lots of things goes there. And then there are humanitarian subjects where you psychology, sociology, and politics, history, those kind of things go there. There are three main things. You need to pick one. And once you've done that for 2 years, you need to go to the college. Yeah. College means like the engineering. Yeah.
Wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, really good. So besides English, did you elect to take German, Sanskrit, or French?
So for me, I want to take German, but I think at that time there was some issue, like it was not matching up with my some of other timetable, I think, or I am pursuing some. I was also playing chess at that time, so
Mm-hmm.
I want to pursue German, but it was not. I was not able to, like. I have to choose either want to continue with chess. There were some arrangements like it, so I have to choose Sanskrit at that time. So I studied Sanskrit as an additional language till we have to do it for 3 years. So I choose Sanskrit and I have learned Sanskrit at that time.
Really excellent. You know, as
Yeah,
someone who's bilingual English French, because French is now my second language, and anytime I meet a French person, I love speaking French.
yeah.
So what do you really think about languages? Do you think, because I tend to think that languages are actually kind of an equation of thought, right? You need certain parts of a sentence, you need certain blocks and certain parts to make the sentence work properly. But what do you think, given your mathematical knowledge? Is language similar at all to mathematics? What do you think are some connections, if any?
So first of all, there are two parts, like language, as I mentioned, like mathematics have built to communicate among transactions. Like if there are numbers, your transaction, the mathematics is built around that. Similarly, language is more natural, like it's for human, like one human talk to another. So as we mentioned, like we have originated from uh, Africa, like from millions of millions. So different people have settled down at different places. They communicate within themselves, and that have been kind of put in our kind of genes, and we enjoy. As you mentioned, like when you talk to French, it's when you talk in English, like some language you have learned, definitely you will love to speak that. You want to learn more, but everyone might have seen when they talk in their mother tongue or something. If you are in a foreign country, some person from your mother tongue speaks, you get a different connection. So that's how like our how we human are like evolved. Like we seek for human connection. So language is, I will say, more deeper than mathematics. Like it more grounded. It teach more human connection. And I agree. Like we are now a global village. We talk to each other, but I still want people should learn about their local cultures and all, because there are a lot of things and how people speak. When you try to learn other culture also, you will learn a lot of things, because some words you will find there are in French, you will not able to translate well in English. And why so? There is no, like, what happened in that place in French at that particular time. That things have never happened where English have been spoken. So you able to translate it, but that translation, even you will feel, hey, this is okay, this is good for the translation, but this is not making real sense. The meaning is really different. So similarly, like those languages are attached to our cultures. There is a lot of things which are at one particular place which are not at the other place. So that's why like I am very fascinated with language also. Like recently I'm not able to learn, but I am learning out Italian. I really love how like their vowels and how they use different words. So yeah, like it will tell you more about the culture, how people speak, and even you have noticed like it's used to said like the taste of the water change after 4 miles, and the language changes after 8 miles. So once you travel, you will really feel how language translates. You will find some words have been carried over. They have mixed something, and other places uh, even speak those words in different tones or something. And as a blind person, it make more sense to feel or like to get connection to those.
You're 100% correct. Yeah. And I think the more that I've learned French over my life, the more that I've made the cultural connection. But it takes a lot of studying to understand the connection and the culture and these social expectations behind the language and the behavior, the way I'm supposed to behave. But all that takes a long time. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. Here at Aaron's Opinion, we have many people from countries all over the world who speak many languages. So you'll find a lot of other people around Aaron's Opinion, myself included, who are very interested in language acquisition. And you're not a linguist, but I actually interviewed a linguist in the past. We can certainly connect later about that. If you really want to learn about languages, I've interviewed a linguist before, actually two of them. They are linguists. Linguists sometimes can be hard to talk to, though. They don't always like to do interviews. They're not. They you kind of have to talk them into an interview. So I've gotten two different linguists, a French woman and an Italian woman, who were willing to conduct interviews with me about language acquisition. So if you want to learn more, let me know later. But yeah, but absolutely. So after, though, going back to your schooling, so after high school, after you finish that, so how does matriculation work in India? And for people in America or who are less familiar, matriculation means the exam that is taken to determine if you are able to get into university. And this is a very common thing in most countries. So how does matriculation work in India?
So in India, it's a bit different. So I think you are familiar with standard. Like we have first standard, second standard. Like these are class. So we have like matriculation. We call it 10th standard. Like this is like 5 year more after your primary education. So this is where we are not determined our universities. This is where we choose our stream, as I mentioned. Either we choose sciences, either we choose business studies, or either we choose this thing, humanitarian. And this can happen in the same school where you have done your matriculation. So once you study 2 years these subjects in the school only, then you need to give different exam for universities. Like for example, once I clear the senior secondary, so based on my senior secondary score, and also like my there are entrance exams for different universities, like the IIT take their own entrance exam. So we need to perform there, and then we get into the university. Like then we pursue our bachelor's or like our whatever we want to do. So after matriculation, there are 2 more years we spend in our school only, but there we need to choose like the sciences or like in what field we want to. And once you cross that, and that exam also happens on a like it's not an internal exam which your school take. It's a like uh, exam taken by the central government, like the government body. So the uh, you people, it's a very like it's not very hard exam like entrance test, but it's like still a good bar to cross.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you have to finish
Yeah.
your, yeah, yeah, got it. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, you have to kind of decide what field you're going to study. So in addition to you studying, mathematics and data science, in that though, were there, what other options did you have? I mean, obviously you saw your own aptitude for it. You knew that you could do it and all of that. But what are some other subjects that what are some other directions you could have taken your university studies? What are some other things you could have studied if you had wanted to?
So when you talk to about university, so in India, if you choose a major, like I choose mathematics, the most of the things are in mathematics, like 80%, I think even 90% of the course is in mathematics. So mine was as mathematics and computer sciences, because computer science is based out of mathematics only. So apart from that, there are few courses you can take like ethics, psychology, economics. They teach like every semester you can take one course. So either like even in the mathematics there are a lot of like you can go into research, like you can pursue a master like PhD and a postdoctoral then in mathematics. And then like there are entrepreneurship things also, like apart from the method, like you can build your own business. And some people also try some groups, like there are cultural groups also apart from, they are not part of your course, but you can go like to a music club, you can go to a dance club, and you can go to a comedy club. And then people sometimes pursue those careers also, like they don't find their this thing interesting, like what they are studying, so they sometimes pursue other fields as well. And in India, what I've seen, like even the people from, like I was in the mathematics and computer science, but a lot of the people, like say from chemical engineering, from mechanical engineering, are coming into computer science also, because now the AI is growing. There are a lot of companies in computer science, so they are pursuing that only. So yeah, there is like whatever you want to do, like you got entrepreneurship, you want to sing, you want to dance, you can do that, or like even you want to go into, but that's how then you need to design your path. Like the most of the course will be in your core subject only, what you choose.
Excellent. Very, very good. Great. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so at some point though you were connected or you found or you built a connection between you and Microsoft. So how does that work? What are you able, if you're able to share that, or if you're able to tell me how were you able to, get connected with Microsoft and start working for them? Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like in my sophomore year, I got very interested in data science. So in India, like after my sophomore year, I applied at various positions for like internship. So there I faced some kind of discrimination also. Like I used to clear their interviews and then they are like, hey, like you are eligible, but we don't know how to support you. Like because and this was around like 2017, 2018. Like even now everyone knows more about screen reader, everything. Even 6, 7 years, or I will say 7, 8 years back, it was very hard thing. Like I think no one in my college even know about screen reader at that time. So it was very hard thing to communicate to them. Then I got an opportunity like at Microsoft. I applied for their internship job, and then when the recruiter reached out to me, I asked them, hey, like, uh, so they have an online test. So I asked them, hey, can your test be accessible through screen reader? They mentioned like they will try to make it accessible, but if it's not, let them know. I gave the test. I don't find it very accessible. Then they accommodate that thing like, hey, you can come on an interview and then we can have a person who will tell you the question. You have to write the code in the editor, and I did that thing. I gave there are 3 to 4 interviews, and then I got an internship there, and there like I demanded for JAWS, so they also allowed JAWS for their internal like workstation as well. So I did an internship in 2018. I have to go to another city for that. Like that was like my college was also in other city, but that was in like North India only. Like it was in a hilly area called Uttarakhand. But for this internship, I have to travel to the south of the India, like around 2,000 miles apart. So that was like my first kind of uh, a very distant thing from my house. And I have to, there's no friend I know, like, because in college I formed many friends. So I have to go to the Hyderabad. Uh, for that, I did an internship for 2 months and then they called me again in 2019. There, like, I again that internship and then they asked me to join as a full-time apply. So for the past 5 years, I am been, like, there only in different capacities. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I think that's perfect. Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
What
yeah.
can you tell me though about, your experience traveling in India? It's very well known. We in the States, we know about the trains. India is famous for trains and the airline and public transportation. So what can you really tell me from a blindness perspective? What was it like traveling from Delhi to Hyderabad? And yes, Americans are familiar with Hyderabad. There's a lot of companies there. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so I will say the public infrastructure is not very great. Even like it's not like America where you can simply walk on a sidewalk, because here in India, as you know, it's a very populated city. Everyone try to make business out of, like, everyone want to make their living. So it's not accessible also, like, because if you walk on a sidewalk, you will find someone pushing their bicycle on that, or you will find someone selling some material. So it's pretty hard, like it's to walk on public places, even with the cane, because you will find some potholes. You can find some manholes. So it's pretty hard that way. But some infrastructure like airports and all, there they have improved their service. Like if you just inform, you can just call the airline one day before, and then once you reach to the gate, they will assist you. Even I think, I don't know, I might be wrong. I think in America they ask you to sit on wheelchair, but in India, if you tell them, hey, I don't need wheelchair, I just need someone guiding me. So they also allow that. So even they have a proper process, like everyone, once you inform to the boarding gate, everyone knows. Like even from the crew, everyone then aware there is a service which they sign on, and then till they will leave you till, not even just like at the arrival also, they will help to you to gather your bag and then find you if you are traveling alone, or like if someone is not coming up to take you up, like they also help you to get to the cab also. So airport services are good, but if you want to just walk in the city, that is pretty hard. Definitely you will need someone, because it's even hard for the normal people. He have to be aware about a lot of things.
I'm
So
sure. Yeah, that's always
yeah,
been the impression I've gotten is even if you're a
yeah.
sighted person, as we say, if you're
Mhm.
sighted, it's hard to move around in a city in India. It's hard for everybody in India, probably. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
hmm from your perspective, when you think about, the engineering of Delhi, where you mostly grew up, like, what is, from your perspective, what does Delhi look like? How is the city built? Even specifications like what is the shape of the city? How did they decide to build that city called Delhi? What do you know about that?
Okay, so like I was in Delhi as I mentioned till my senior secondary. Like my college, like as I mentioned, I pursue mathematics in a state called Uttarakhand. So I will first tell a bit about Delhi and I also try to explain a bit about Uttarakhand. So Delhi is like the center point, like it's the capital. So every business body, like everything, like from every organization, even for like embassies for different countries, even the offices for World Health Organization, like every offices, every government building is in Delhi. So in Delhi also it's divided into multiple parts. Like I don't know, like it's a history. Like the India have been ruled by several people. Like there's been Mughal Empire, and then there will be the British. So you will find those architectures still there. Like you will find their ruins, or you will find still those are standing. So the places which are built at very earlier times, like which have not think like we have been come across in 2000. So there you will find very narrow lanes. Uh, but those have again different charm. Like once you went there, you will find a different thing. There are people, there are a lot of food, there are different things. And then there is a different thing where you will find very wide blocks like United States, like where everything have been laid out very well. The blocks are properly formed. So it's a mix of the city, and now there are a lot of flyovers. There is one river called Yamuna which flows along the side of the city, but it's pretty dirty as of now. But we are trying to make it clean. So you will find everything like from Mughal architecture, so what British have made, and then development after that. You will find a lot of flyovers, and it's full packed with traffic. I think I don't know the number, but I think every year, I think more than uh, tens of thousands, not tens of thousands. I think around 1 million new cars come every year on the roads. So you can imagine the traffic. Like even to move sometimes 10 kilometers, it will. We count everything in kilometers. Like 1 mile is around 1.7 kilometers. So even to move 10 km around 6 to 7 miles, sometimes it took 50 to 60 minutes due to the traffic. Yeah. But
Absolutely.
at the
Yeah.
same time,
hmm
one more thing which I remember, like, but the people are very helpful. Like you can call, even you don't know a stranger, if you got into something, suppose your car got broke down or something got happened, people are very helpful. They will definitely come. They will, even they are having a very important business meeting. Like it's true for a lot of the people. They will definitely first help you out, and they sort your things. Whatever you need, they will try to provide that, and then they will move to their own business. So that was kind of because culture had built in, but like yeah, it's the also positive side because there are a lot of people around you every time, so you can easily call for help or something anytime.
Excellent. Very good. That's wonderful. Really, really understandable for me. And how different is Hyderabad from Delhi? I mean, it's hard to compare. So you can't really compare cities, but what can you
Mhm.
tell me about Hyderabad? Yeah.
So okay. So Hyderabad is in the southern part of the India. So culture are different, like the food and all, and uh, so food is different. The weather, like in Delhi, it's become very cold in winter. It's dropped to around, we call it, I don't know the Fahrenheit, but it dropped to 3 degrees Celsius, around 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. And it reaches up to around 45, 46 degrees in summer. So in Delhi, the main thing, weather is very harsh on both the end. And also in the monsoons, it rains a lot. So it's experience everything. Like when it's coming to rain, it rains a lot. When it's a summer, it's peak to very high. And it's a winter, it's very chilled out. due to its geography. But Hyderabad, it's more moderate, like the temperature will hover around 20 to 40. In the summers, it will go up a bit, but the winters never come there. And also, I find that Hyderabad, it's more safer than Delhi, like because uh, there might be several regions, like how I don't know about the actual culture and how they have grown up, or like it's about the infrastructure. But on personal level, I feel Hyderabad to be more safer. Uh, and there are two parts of Hyderabad. There's New Hyderabad, as I mentioned, and the Old Hyderabad. Old Hyderabad is like those kind of lanes only, which I explained, like Delhi. So on those terms, you will feel the same, like in terms of infrastructure, flyovers and all, but temperature, food, and how people wear things, and those might be different. But now, as you mentioned, like there are a lot of offices in Hyderabad, and they are also opening their counter offices in northern India, like in Delhi. So the cultural mix have already happened. Like so, you will not feel, hey, this food I'm missing in Hyderabad, which I used to have in Delhi. Or even when you come back to Delhi, you will not feel, hey, I used to have this in Hyderabad, this is not there. Now you will find everything at every place.
Wonderful. Excellent. Super good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. You're very understandable. And I totally get what you're saying. So the other thing that you mentioned too, that's really fun is that you have an aptitude or an interest in comedy and writing some comedy, going to comedy clubs and listening to books and things like that. So what can you tell me about your interest in comedy? And I always believe it's said philosophically, and it's absolutely the case that laughter is a great medicine. So, what can you tell me about Indian comedy and Indian humor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's growing up a lot. I think uh, now from past after COVID, or I will say it have taken a boom. Like there are a lot of comics have came up, and earlier, like due to the culture boundaries and due to the lack of internet, like I will say the people are not really speaking of like how the American comedy I have seen. Like in my college, there are not lot of these kind of things are there in India. So I used to watch some few of the American comics at the time. So now, like, but I feel, as I mentioned, that I laughed a lot at them, but I feel the human connection there, because sometimes the jokes are related to culture and all, which you are not able to relate very well. But now in India, there are a lot of clubs are coming up. Every show, like, every day, I think some show are happening in every city. Like I think in a lot of the cities there are different clubs, there are open mics happening where you can go and come. I haven't not able to perform yet. I still need to get that courage. But why I starting writing comedy, because in my experience, like when so also in terms of blindness and all, like I feel some people are they are not intentionally doing things, but sometimes how they speak to you, you will laugh, like how they question you or how they are curious. So I sometimes try to make good comedy out of it, and I also like based on my experience, what I observe about society and all. So comedy, I think, is the best way, like where you can put sarcastically something and still you can able to communicate yourself in a very witty way. So that's how like I am still writing something once I got courage, or like or I will feel like this is good presentable thing. I got a good set of good 30 to 40 minutes. I will definitely love to perform someday.
I see. Cool, man.
Yeah,
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 really
yeah.
good. Well, that's how it works in America. You know, it's just like anything else. You have to apply yourself. The comedians typically they go to comedy clubs in America, and the joke or the idea is you have to get it. Now, this sounds silly, and you can laugh, but you have to get a certain number of laughs, and they actually measure in America how hard the people are laughing, so they actually can tell based on the reaction of the crowd. Comedy in America, as it is anywhere, is a very complex intellectual thing. Just like anything else, it's very subtle. It's a very subtle thing. There are some people who write really well, and that's the mark of a comedian or a comic, is that you have to be an exceptionally gifted writer. You have to truly own what you write. And after you own what you write, then you have to be able to either realize that what you wrote is funny, or you have to say what you wrote in a funny way. So a lot of comedians that are really good and gifted are saying very serious and very dull things, but their voice or their delivery or their intonation just has a funny tone to it. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of what we look for in America. How do you deliver? What's your meal? What's your product? Um, but no, the most brilliant. I've only been to I've only seen one comedian. I'm not going to name drop on the podcast, but I've only seen one comedian in real life in America. It's, I mean, I'm not saying it's restrictive, but generally, when you're a child growing up, you can't go to you have to be an adult to go to a comedy club.
Yeah.
And then if you want to see a famous comedian, then it's expensive. So typically in America, you don't go to comedians in person. You just watch them on your phone. Most people have never seen a comedian in real life. But a lot of it has to do with, what is your delivery and how gifted, are you? But yeah, so do you have to just go to this comedy club in your community and just go to an open mic and just try out? How does it work actually? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think the same thing. Like people measure on same thing. People try first test themselves on open mics. They try to gauge because timing is also one more thing. Like how you also need to be aligned with the audience. Like how what is the crowd look like? Because targeted audience is one more thing. Like if I'm telling a joke in Delhi, it not might sound very funny in Hyderabad or somewhere else. So I think in open mic and all like will help us to gauge I think the audience like what those feel like, what their vibe is like. Even every room, I will say a different. Like once you perform a set to different people, set of people, you're definitely going to have different laugh always. So it's not just like one way process where like you just speak and people will laugh. I think it's a two-way communication. You need to get into the people, how they are uh, reacting or are they are sensitive. This particular set of people sitting in a room sensitive to a particular topic, but today they don't feel like to be laughed at particular things. So you need to be very diverse and dynamic. I will say if you are like as per my experience, if you want to speak for 10 minutes, at least you should have a content of at least 2 hours so that you can filter in and push those things like in uh, that places. So that's what I yeah feel or like thought about it.
Sure, man. Yeah, you need a lot of material to back yourself up with. Like if a joke
Yeah.
doesn't land, as they say, if it doesn't
Mhm.
land, if they don't laugh, then you need to be
Yeah.
able to take the next breath and say, so anyway, here's the next story. And you need to be able
Mhm.
to go and I mean, you could take classes about how to deliver, but it's as I say, it's in American society, it's a very subtle thing.
Mhm.
Some people are just able to say stuff funny and they're able to connect with you, with the audience. And some people, and then there's other people who are absolutely brilliant writers who are able to write just amazingly well and perfectly. But then if they get up in front of 1,000 people, they couldn't make one of them laugh. So it just depends it really depends on the person. And that's all really fascinating. Where have you traveled to outside of India?
Outside of India,
Yes.
yeah. So I have not traveled exactly outside of India, but like there is this Andaman Islands, like which is outside the mainland India. It's still come under Indian territory, but it's not an Indian mainland. Like it's around 2,000 miles apart from Indian mainland. There is a group of islands. So that was my recent trip where there's a lot of beaches, a lot of forest and all. And I spent like around 10 to 15 days there. So that was like one of my memorable trip. Apart from that, I used to do some treks. As I mentioned, like my college was in Uttarakhand, so that is on Himalayan range that sit in the foothill of Himalaya. So I traveled a lot of places. Like I used to trek there with my friends. I used to go to different beaches, and sometimes there are a lot of temples also in India. So, and this year I'm still planning. Like it's still in planning. I still need to get my work approvals and all leaves and all. Like I'm planning for this UAE, like the Dubai, Oman, and Qatar. I am planning to go there.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
good. I've been all over Europe. I've never been to India, but I've been all over Europe. I've been to France
Yeah.
many times and things
Europe
like.
also I'm trying to do, but like it's require a lot of planning also. Like you need to because once you go to the Europe from India, you feel like at least you will do 8 to 9 countries, like at least like so because they are very well connected through trains, through roads, you will definitely love to do. You will not feel like if you miss some country and you come back, you will feel very bad. Hey, I missed this country. I should have been gone there. So it required a good planning around 30 to 35 days at least, like a good
Yeah,
time
it's
to be
tricky.
there.
I
Yeah.
think for me, when I go to France, a country that I love very much, after about 3 weeks or after about a month, I'm ready to go home. It's like enough already. After
Yeah.
about, I think a month is long enough. And the longest I ever lived outside of America was 3 months, and that was pretty intimidating for an American to leave America for 3 months. That's pretty scary. That's a long time to an American. So it does depend, but I think a good trip should be around 3 weeks, is a good
Yeah.
amount of time, and then after that point you'll be tired and ready to go home. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've always found. So anyway, you've done a spectacular, as I knew you would. You're an absolutely incredible person to have around Aaron's opinion, as I knew you are. But I'm sure you have a lot of questions for Aaron Richmond and Aaron's opinion and my life in America. So really, man, ask all your questions. What do you want to know about me? What do you want to know about Aaron's opinion, America, culture? Really make me sweat. Let's go. What do you really want to know?
Yeah. So yeah, I want to ask a lot, but
Please,
I know
please
like we
ask.
can talk about.
Well, you
Yeah.
you can you
So
can ask. So with me, I'm like you can ask, like nothing will I will not, like nothing will bother me. Like you can ask any question inside your heart, like whatever you really want to know, just ask it. Like what do you really want to know? Yeah.
sure. So I just like to know like what as a like I am also in like I know many Americans. I work with a lot of Americans, but I interacted them on like work level. So I first of thing I would just want to know like how is your like day to day, how you feel about it, and what things you thought that can be do better, and then and how this idea like about and then after the second thing is like how this idea of podcasting came and how you able to grow it and like what is your like kind of future plan like for this thing. So these are my two like uber level questions which I have.
Sure, man. Yeah. So the first question I didn't quite understand. Maybe I need a clarification. Let's see here. Um, I think the first question you were asking, you asked something about work, but can you please rephrase it? I didn't understand the second question. I'll tell you easily, but the first I didn't understand I didn't understand what you were asking about the work. It didn't quite get across. What do you mean? Maybe
Okay, I
rephrase
was
that.
saying I know many American people, but I interacted them on work basis, not on their personal front, like how they spend. So I want to know like how you spend your typical day or week, like how it's been like a day in America, and what things you like there, like about the city where you live, or what things you love to be corrected, or you like, yeah, this can be done in that way.
Got it.
So
Sure.
yeah,
Sure. I mean, I think life, our lives are very different, are totally different, obviously, being that you're in India and I'm in America. But the irony behind it all is our lives are very similar. Life is very similar. Americans are weird. We have a very strange society these days, as far as I'm concerned. I prefer I prefer the lifestyle in France. I prefer the French society in some ways over the
yeah,
American in a lot of ways. But American people, Rishabh, it depends. You have people that work very hard, like you and I, and then you have other people who refuse to work, and then you have other people who won't work, and then so that's a huge social issue, is that the whole American fabric, the whole American society, the economy, our whole social system is just as dysfunctional as you would ever have imagined it to be. Yeah, America is not a perfect country, right? As was said by the great founders and forefathers of our nation, democracy is definitely not a good idea. It's just definitely the
yeah,
least bad. It's definitely the least bad idea. So although your life is significantly harder and ridiculously more challenging than my life, and there's nothing that we can do about that, but what I will say is that there are other challenges in American life. Um, many of the American populace who are blind, many of them, at least 70 or conservatively 70%, but if you really ask my direct opinion, I think about 90% of blind people in America are not actually employed. So what ends up happening is they end up living with their family. They end up becoming, their family has to care for them. And this has been a growing problem, and it's gotten worse since the pandemic. In my life, I spend as much time as I can focusing on things that work, and I try to not worry about stuff that doesn't work. So I do my teaching job. I teach English as a second language online. By the way, I have had very few Indian students over the years. Almost nobody has ever learned with me on my platforms that I work with from India. And if I'm not doing that, I take care of my dog. I have a dog named Tilly. My old mother wanted to, my parents are old, and my mother wanted to adopt a dog, and I think it's lovely. Tilly is she's called a Great Pyrenees, so she's kind of a guard dog. So she's a lot of fun. She's a big personality. I love her. I take care of Tilly. I'm also a member of my Lions Club in my community. I give back to my community in that way. And most of all, I stay active. I live an active life. And then you just go about your business. That's how life goes in America. It's pretty different, totally different from your life, but ironically, there's a lot of similarities. Shocking. You'd be shocked to see how similar life is in America, even though it's America. And then the podcasting aspect of my life came about, and here's how I explain it. Well, as I mentioned, I was born in 1991 before you, and I was born with many health problems. So from day one, my parents were going back and forth to hospital, and they had to drive in a car. And in the 90s, there was a tremendous surge of talk radio in America, where people would have talk shows on the radio stations. And we would listen to one particular host. He has since passed away years ago, but he was very, very, very famous. So we would listen to him. So before I was able to talk, I was hearing audio. I was hearing content. So my life has been absorbed, I've been basically immersed in the language of content creation from 1991. I grew up listening to audiobooks, and then as a teen let's go with like 2000 to 2010, that time, those years, I started to listen to radio and podcasts. And podcasting really was available around 2007, but it wasn't until 2010, 2015 that it started to really kick off. So at that point, I was listening to some podcasts that were geared towards the blindness community. But here was the problem, Rishabh. I always noticed that these podcasts were not receptive to me. They weren't receptive to my opinions, and they weren't ready to have great conversations. I created Aaron's Opinion to give you the chance to share your story with the world. That's how I created it. And the answer is I applied myself. I worked hard. I keep working hard. I work harder each day. That's how you do it. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, one interview at a time, one conversation, until next thing you know, you're talking to someone from Romania who says, I think you should talk to somebody from India. So the answer is, how do you move forward in the podcast space? The same thing you did in India. Work hard, apply yourself, go for it, go. That is Aaron's Opinion. There you go. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, very much. It's a great thing. Like, I love the way, like, how you communicate and how you design things. I really love the concept, and I hope this will reach more ears, and I will definitely love to see it grow more, and more people come, and we try to make an impact to this.
Thank you. Well, that's so great. Well, you should, after this episode comes out and you're tagged on social media, on the socials, you should share the episode, just share with the public and see where it lands. You never know. I've noticed, many of my guests are from all over the world, really. I've noticed fewer people from Europe, though, participate. So it's, that's kind of an interesting thing, but you'd be surprised. One share with your friends or one share with the public could really, you never know where a video will land and what country it'll land in. That's why you just have to keep doing a great job every single day and just enjoy it. Just love it. I love doing podcasts. It makes me happy. So just keep doing it. Yeah. Any other huge questions you really want to know?
I don't know. I think it was a very great conversation.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah. Even I got a good glimpse of your life, and that's a great thing. And I also wish you good success like in future. Yeah.
Well, you're very kind. And we want to say that
Yeah.
you, Rishabh, are forever welcome in the Aaron's Opinion family. Before we go, and don't hang up, by the way, because I got to say one more thing off air. Before we go, though, so if someone wants to get in touch with, you after hearing our beautiful conversation, how can you be reached?
So the best thing is to reach out to me is on LinkedIn. I can provide a link, but I'm not sure like how that we can put in. But if you can just search like my full name, that is Rishabh space Jan, and then you put Microsoft, it will suddenly come up, and then you can send me a request on the LinkedIn. I mostly be active there, and that's how like is the best way to reach out to me for anything.
Very good. All right, everybody. Well, I know you sent me a description, so I'll definitely get to that at some point here pretty soon. In my editing and in my publication of these episodes, I will certainly get back to you about that. But yeah, that's all really, really good. Anyway, please don't hang up. I want to talk to you for another 30 seconds off here before we go. But anyway, everybody, we just want to say thank you for tuning in today. Wonderful conversation with Rishabh from India. You did a great job. And of course, the only thing I wish you is success and happiness. And please be healthy and please be well. That's all I hope, is that you just keep being more and more successful. As we say, the greatest success for me is to help you be more successful than me. So that's all I hope, is that you succeed. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And until next time, keep podcasting, whether you're from America or India or anywhere else. Keep podcasting and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever else. So take care, everybody. And of course, help one person today. Help 1 million people tomorrow.